there, and welcome to Catherine's Garden and Home. How are you all today? I hope that all is well with you. I hope that things are going well for you. Welcome to Catherine's Garden and Home. Well, my name is Catherine, and I am here in the Boston area in the Northeast of the United States of America, and I am in Zone 6. And you could say Zone 6A, 6B, but I think that depending on which part of my garden will determine if it's A or B. Because in certain parts of the garden, things bloom a little bit more quicker or sooner than other parts. And so to me, there's that variation in even within my little ecosystem here in my urban cottage garden where um, I garden here with my husband who works with me, but also here we work together in the garden, and it is a cottage style garden with a lot of fullness and abundance. I like the English style of gardening where they have garden beds and where it's full, that you really can't see the soil per se, maybe in the edging, but the borders are full and bountiful. Welcome. I see some people coming on. That's good. How are you all today? Come on in the chat and say hello. Yes, who is that? Who came up? Oh, Bev, how are you today? Good evening, Miss Catherine. Happy to catch your live today. I am so glad that you're here. Very beautiful bouquet of roses. Yes, my girl. Yes, this is a mother of pearl rose that I got last year from my daughter for Mother's Day. Was it Mother's Day? I believe she gave, no, that's not true. That's not true. Anyway, I did get it last year, and I got it from Lowe's, and I was looking for roses, and I saw this rose. It was so beautiful, and so this is its second year in the garden, and it has been so prolific. Yes, hello, my Sonia. How are you, my sweet? So good to have you here with me. You are so faithful. I have to say that the both of you are so faithful. It is so good. And yes, I am here. Now, I have a slight either allergy or a cold, one or the other. So you might hear me sniffling a little bit. Over here in the Boston area, it has been kind of dry, and so there's a lot of pollen in the air, more so than usual. And in my garden, I have oak trees, and the male trees have these catkins, they call it, or tassels. And it just flows this pollen all through the air. So it's either that or I just have a summer cold. My grandbabies were sick and they came over and visited me, and they, I think, helped also. So if you hear me sniffling, that's what that is all about. But I'm fine. I'm doing well. Yeah, so this rose is from my garden. And we were talking about roses and vases and all of that, remember? And so I decided, yes, we've been talking about cut flowers also, that I have all of these roses and such an abundance of roses from those two rose bushes that I said, let me cut them. It rained earlier today, finally, and it's going to rain later on. And when it rains, it does affect the petals, as well as the fact that the temperatures are rising. It was 70, 80 degrees now. Hello, G Mama Gross, how are you? And so with that, the roses, the rose petals have been affected a little bit by it. But I have so many, and it's just so beautiful. I said, let me share it with my gardening friends. So this is my gift to you all. from my garden to share the beauty with you all. And then over here, that right there, that's my Eden climbing rose. And it is in its full prime. It's very full and lush. Look at that. But not as bountiful as it has been in the past. As I said earlier in the, I don't know if you've heard, earlier in the year, it looked like it was getting chlorosis or something like that. And so the leaves started turning green, and I had to feed it and really push it, and then it started to get a little more healthy. I gave it some compost, some Miracle Grow fertilizer, some other fertilizers, and just really beefed up the soil around it, and it recovered. It started to green up, but it's not as prolific as usual, but still very beautiful, along with my Westerland rose and my other rose that I have here, Cornelia, which is just flanking the deck, and it's so beautiful. It's so fragrant right now. But this rose is up in the new part of the garden, and I am so satisfied with this rose. It is not a David Austin rose. It is a Lowe's bloomable rose. And I am so pleased with it. It's just so beautiful. Now, this is the other rose that I just bought this year. And this one is Pinkerbell. And this is the rose that my daughter got me for Mother's Day, as a Mother's Day gift, a belated Mother's Day gift. And I went there plant shopping with her, and I ended up picking up this one. The other one that they had there, I wanted to get two of them, but the stem was broken, and it was withering. And I said to the person, I will buy this. Could I get a discount? And they said yes. So I was able to get both roses, two of these. And they look so fantastic in the front garden. And I've been showing, yeah, such large blooms. Yes, they're really large. They're a good size. Let me show you with my hand. See, let me put my hand behind it. You see how big it is? It's as big as the palm of my hand, or bigger, larger. Yeah, they're very beautiful blooms, and it's part of the bloomable series. And this is supposed to be a hybrid tea, but to me it's like a floribunda because it has a lot of blooms. Now this is a floribunda, and a floribunda rose is like a combination between a hybrid tea and a floribunda, yeah, and a rose that has many petals. I forget what they call it. The grandiflora. Now this is a grandiflora. This is a grandiflora, which is a mixture of a hybrid tea and a flandabora. In other words, it has the traits of a hybrid tea, which is so dainty and neat like this, and a floribunda, in which it has many flowers on one stem. That's what it is. So this is a grandiflora. All right, and it truly is grand. I enjoy it. By the way, Bev, Miss Gardens are me. My Olivia Rose Austin is about to bloom. I have the buds, and I can actually see the pink. Um, what I feed my roses with, Sonia, I just have the compost, and I use Miracle Grow in the spring. But I really believe in compost, and so I had gotten some fresh compost, and I gave it a good dose of compost, and also some Miracle Grow. I did buy some rose fertilizer, some Rose the Bear rose to fight against insects and so forth. I don't know if that was too strong for my rose, my Cornelia rose, because I think that might have had an effect. But I found that Miracle Grow does the best for me for my roses. That with and some compost and a lot of it, and I might add some Epsom salts or a little bit of like the banana peels. Plant some banana peels around it, and that will give it the potassium, and that seems to do the trick for the roses. Yeah, but and then giving them good airflow, also, and plenty of water and sun. they seem to respond to that. Um, yes, so Bev, yeah, the David Austin is doing good, and she has about Olivia Rose Austin. She has about 5 or 6 blooms, but then there that are there on them, and some of the little baby ones too. Yeah. So I'm excited to see it come out because it's still different from this style of rose. That is more like a cabbage style, a more country feel, that urban country um, or cottage, English cottage garden look. So more so like this, like the Eden climbing rose. I think that she's going to be more like her than this one. But I am enjoying these roses. And then I have another rose that I got from Lowe's too. My um, brick house red rose, and it's looking so pretty up there in the front. But yeah, right now the roses are, I have to try the Epsom salt. Just a little bit of Epsom salts too will help. It's the minerals. They just need the minerals. And but the Miracle Grow works really good with the roses. As much as they talk about the synthetic fertilizers, it just seems to work for me. Um, with the roses. Now with the food plants like vegetables and fruits and so forth, I don't use Miracle Grow for them. I actually used the Espoma. Is it the Espoma? Um, the garden fertilizer. Um, and but you know what? I really am a believer in compost. Hey, Huji Homestead, Huga Homestead. Hello, how are you? Nice to see you pop up. Nice to have you come and join us. Well, from our last discussion, um, Cassie was asking about fragrant flowers. And of course, roses at this time in my garden are definitely fragrant. And they are filling the atmosphere with a lot of smells and beauty as well. Um, but then also we have lavender. My lavender is coming up. It's beautiful. The lavender has a beautiful scent, and the lavender with the roses, it's great. Um, and then also, oh, Bev, I wanted to show you something. I decided to cut some of the ginger mint, and that is fragrant as well as an herb. And I did that, and look what has happened. I have roots now. I just put some of it into water, and now it's rooting. Do you see that? Yes. So you can do that too, because the ginger root is a little bit more expensive. You know what I'm saying? It's so now you can have. Thank you, thank you. So now I'm creating some more of those ginger plants that I'm going to spread around the garden and put them in pots, so I will never run out of ginger mint and the other mint as well. So that is a good way to add to your, you know, to propagate and add to your mints, because mints root very, very quickly. And I think I've had it in water for about maybe 2 weeks or so, and it's already rooted up. I did do a video on this, so you could check it out. My video on propagating the mints. Yes. So I have um, the mint here. Now this is my orange mint. Oh, oh, I'm gonna sneeze. Oh Lordy, sorry. I have my orange mint here, right? And I did that with the orange mint. Remember when I bought the orange mint earlier in the season, and I just clipped off some of them? I put it in water, rooted it up, and I put it in a pot. And you see how big and lush it's become in the pot? Because now I have some of it in the garden, but now I have this close by. So if I want to just get a couple of the mint leaves to add in a drink or tea or whatever, that I could just cut a couple of them and add it to my drink. You know, like I actually did that. I had some ginger, lemon, and I got some of the mint leaves, a couple of sprigs of mint, put it into boiling water, and let it sit, and then drank. It was so delicious. Garden Diva 023, how are you? Welcome, welcome. Good to have you all come in. Yes, woo, woo. Where we grow, 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 grow together. Yeah, so what have you all been up to? What's going on with all of you? You doing well? I hope all is well with everyone, and that you're finding the season to be good for you, the spring, and heading into summer. Yeah, isn't this amazing how the time is just moving so rapidly, but yet so beautifully? And of course, I have to bring up my book. Yes, you know I do. This has been the best thing ever. Planning and really thinking about intentional gardening. I have really enjoyed this process because now when I see what I had intended or envisioned to do come to pass, and I'm not just, I really am more of a spontaneous person. I mean, I plan, but I'm also spontaneous. I'm happy to be growing more flowers this season. You are, G Mama Gross? Yes. Yeah, that's good. How exciting. I'm glad for you. Deborah, my girl, you're here. Good evening, Miss Catherine in chat. Yes, Deborah's in the house. Deborah's in the house. How you doing, girl? You guys make me, I hate to say you guys, you wonderful people make me so happy. And I do look forward to our Wednesday chats. And at first I thought I wasn't going to make it because it turned out to be a very busy day. I've been listening for a while. You have, sweetness? Oh, that's good. So, but I always am planning for you because I do like to plan a little bit when I'm coming before you. I want to leave you with some good information as well as an opportunity for us to just enjoy one another's company. But I also want to share with you info. So, hey, I'm resting. Was at the beach with my daughter and her children. At the beach? Oh, you're living it. Deborah, I'm so happy for you. I remember it was a couple of months ago. Or was it last year? Was it this year? I'm not sure. But you weren't feeling well. I remember we prayed for you. You came on and you were sick. You were feeling sick. I think it was last year. But I'm so glad to see how you have recovered and how you're really enjoying life. And you're enjoying your children and your grandchildren. It's just a beautiful thing. It's such an inspiring thing. And I just want to let you know how much I appreciate you. Hi, Catherine. Yeah, hey, Vintage Gardener. How are you, my sweetie? Good to have you. Yeah, so I just want you to know I'm so glad that you're part of this friend community. Yes, yes, my gardening friend community, Deborah. I just wanted to give you that. Hi, Grandmother Girl Sonia and Gardens are me. Yes, yes. Hey, Vintage Gardener, Sonia says. Yes, so it's a good thing. I'm glad everybody is doing well. Yes, prayer works. It does, my sweet. Prayer does work. And I'm so glad that everybody's feeling, a little bit more excited about life and your gardens, and that you are adding flowers and beauty to your gardens. And I, and you all have inspired me as well. And I've learned so much from you all. And I truly think that this is a wonderful opportunity to spread the joy here. And so I wrote down here on my notes, welcome abundance. I'm glad to be a part of this gardening community. Yes, yes, Deborah. Yes, we are happy to have you too, my sweetie. Yeah, so, welcome abundance. This is what when we're heading into summer, we have to think about welcome abundance, that this is the time of abundance. And that is what I wanted to show you with my flowers here, the roses. Last year, I had put the plant in the ground, gave it what it needed, which was a lot of compost, a good sunny location, and plenty of water and fertilizer. Me three, yes, ma'am. Yeah, you're part of this whole thing too. And you've been such a contributor. I really appreciate you. You've inspired me so much. Yeah. So welcome abundance. Abundance is such a wonderful thing. I hope that your gardens are experiencing the abundance. I have to say compost is number one. And if you can get compost from someplace, like we get it from, I got this landscaping person that I've hooked up with. And they get it from the place where I got it before, but it's easier to get it from them. So I decided to get it from them. The point is that, yes, it's a little money. I think, I'm paying like $150 for that compost, you know, and yeah, it's 150, but it's worth it because soil is so critical. And when you feed your plants, they respond. When you feed them good soil, compost, or you can make your own compost, whatever it takes. So this year, when you are gathering your leaves and all of your other things, make sure that you start to compost. I made and used my own compost for my sweet potato plants this year. Go me. Yes, Deborah. Yes. So whatever it is, utilize the compost. Now, my husband and we've been composting with the oak tree leaves, right? And grass clippings and things like that. So we mix it up together with the soil. And what it does, so my soil is becoming more richer, more loamy, much more dense. So I'm able to produce. To produce these great blooms. And I think that everything is so much more healthier and so much more lively because one, I've had to cut trees here, and so they're getting more sun. Two, the soil is fantastic. And three, we've been watering. But here in the Boston area, it hasn't been raining as much as it has in the past. So things are a little bit smaller, and it's been cooler, so that they're not as, you know, overwhelming. Things haven't grown, but I do vermicomposting. Okay, you use the worms. Is that what the worms, G Mama? Yeah. However you composting is huge. So in the fall, make sure you gather your leaves and compost, because between the compost from the landscaping company that I get and my own compost, mixing it together really helps. Yes, red wrigglers. Oh, okay. And you know what? I find too cardboard. The other thing is that, well, so like when I'm making or creating a new bed, or when I'm trying to strengthen the borders too, using cardboard. They say cardboard is really good, that the worms love the cardboard. So if you have an area that you want to, say you're creating or removing the weeds from a certain area, you want to smother the weeds, get some cardboard, lay the cardboard down, and then put the soil on top. Wet it first, and then put the soil or the compost on top, and then plant in the compost. That way, the worms will, the The yes, indeed, worms love cardboard. Yes, the worms are going to come in the soil and make it healthy, and that's what I think happened with these roses. Because if you look at my video from when I planted these last year, I layered that area with cardboard. Then I had cut a tree, so I had wood chips around it, and I also had compost. And so hello, Cassie. I was thinking about you. I'm so glad you came on. So, yeah, so that is something that you should consider. Yeah, consider the cardboard. Cardboard is really good for helping to, one, um, to keep the weeds down, and two, to encourage the worms, because the worms then they penetrate through the soil, they help to aerate your soil naturally, and they release their castings there, and so your soil will become much more healthier. Then you'll be able to produce really healthy plants, and really healthy flowers and so forth. That is how I started all of my pots and raised beds. I learned about cardboard from a coworker. Yes, Deborah. Yes. So you'll have great soil, and you'll have great success because it's less weeding. Because that's another issue that I wanted to bring up too. We're welcoming the abundance of summer into our gardens, but also with that comes weeds, a lot of foliage, and blooms. So to suppress the weeds, yes, the cardboard helps to do that, and you don't have to weed as much. And then, of course, Charles Dowling, what's his name? He's in England. He is the no dig guy. He encourages us not to do a lot of digging, but to cover our work with um, with cardboard and soil. Yes, we are talking about a subject I'm really interested in. Yes, Cassie? Oh, yes, this is my third year, and the garden is growing. Yes, Deborah. Deborah said that she learned the cardboard method, the no-dig method, from her coworker. If you type in no-dig in the YouTube search, Charles, I can't remember his Darling, something like that. I want to say Darwin, but it's not Darwin, it's Darling. He's from the UK, right? And he is one of the founders of this whole method that's called no dig. And he'll show you how to lay the cardboard down, and then to suppress the weeds, and then you put dowing. Thank you, dowing. Thank you. Charles Dowding. Yes, Dowding. You know who I'm talking about. Yes. Yes, Dowding. Thank you, guys. That's why we're working together. Yes, so we could grow together. But if you watch a couple of his videos on it, and he gives you step-by-step instructions, and it helps with suppressing weeds, and it helps with all of the building up. This is my first year using cardboard, so no weeds yet. Yes, and as you go along, you may get a couple of weeds, but you just pull them up right away. He's cool, yes. And he believes in starting seeds, and if he's great, beautiful background, Miss Cap. Thank you, Cassie. This is my mother of pearl rose that I planted last year in the garden, and it is so good. It responded to the cardboard method, it responded to the compost, and this year it produced all of these blooms. And I have so many blooms still yet on the bushes. I have two of them, right? Two rose bushes, and I see some new growth. And so I gather the leaves in my yard every fall to use as mulch. Yeah, and that is another thing too. You can use in the fall you could cover. Um, what my husband has been doing is that there's one particular bed that he runs over it with the lawnmower, and we just leave the leaves on it. And I think what happens that when the rain and the snow and everything, it's almost like a tea for the ground, and uh, it just helps everything to come back. The section that I have there that has, excuse me, a lot of the hostas, um, it just works really well. Hey, Deborah, Theodore, and Gardens Army. Yeah, Cassie. Cassie, okay. You're the reason why I was thinking about fragrant flowers. Fragrant flowers. Remember, I promised you that we will look up, and I would get some information about fragrant flowers. Well, the roses, fragrant flowers, roses. I thought about it and said, "Wow, yeah, I have the roses." But then also with the roses, I have lilacs. I just planted a lot of not lilacs, lavender. Lavender. I planted a lot of lavender around, and they're just starting to bloom. Um, and they say roses and lavender go well together. It hasn't gotten as big and bushy as I would love it to as yet, but I did plant lavender, and lavender is also a fragrant flower. Um, Okay, so I'll get to that. Let me just, so welcome abundance. We know that this is the time of abundance, that this is late spring, and we're going to be heading into early summer later on in June. I think it's June 21st or the 20th is the first day of summer. I tried lavender twice and killed them both. I see my first uh, nasturtium nasturtium flower today. I have two types of lavender this season. You do. How do you grow have you had a lot of success, G Mama Grows, with the lavender? And what did you do to make it grow so well? Because um, I'm thinking that I might have to put it in a pot versus having it in the ground. I don't know, for some reason it comes out spindly, but I do love the smell of lavender and roses. That was my point. But then I have so many other flowers around it that it might be overwhelming for them. So I would love to learn how to harvest and use lavender. Me too. Um, and that's something to think about. You know, I might just get some more lavender plants and put them in pots or something. But then they're flowering. They are flowering, but they're not as full and bushy. And I have them in containers, and they are overwintered. Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, because I know that some of them are tender, and they don't seem to be able to withstand the cold. And then some of them can go in the ground, but I guess it's knowing which kind you can overwinter and which kind can are winter hardy. Yeah, knowing the difference between the two. But that's something for us to think about. Lavender. Okay. We'll check out lavender. Maybe in our next growing together session on Wednesday, I'll check out lavender, especially if I find some, and I'll pot them up, and we can have a discussion on lavender. Uh, so, um, so right now, with the seasons changing, our focus is different. Our focusing now is on weeding, staking, monitoring for bugs and disease. Ring. Right, I thought it died back, but I'm in zone 6A. It came back. Oh, okay. Good. I think if you put it in a container, I'm just thinking that if I put it in a container, put it in a sheltered location, and then bring it back out again, maybe that will help it versus just putting it in the ground and waiting for it to come back. You know, that might be the best thing. The other thing is rosemary. Rosemary is also similar to the lavender for me. And when I plant rosemary in the ground, it doesn't seem to stay. You know, I have to I have to think of rosemary as as a annual. I don't know, but I would love to be able to keep my rosemary plant. I don't know. Well, we'll figure it out. So we have the summer abundance. Things are growing fast. We have rapid growth in the summer. And so we're focusing on weeding. And we talked about the weeding. Okay, so the cardboard method. Use ARP rosemary. It is more winter hardy. Okay, ARP rosemary. I never heard of that. But I'll check that out. ARP rosemary. Okay, thank you, Vintage. Thank you for that insight. So, yes, same here with the rosemary. It does not do well in the ground for me either, Cassie. I love this smell of rosemary in my herb bed. Yeah, me too. I do. I do too. So that's another fragrant um, of plant in the garden. Uh, Within the herbs, and you know, herbs are more fragrant, are fragrant, pretty much. So all right, so we talked about weeding with cardboard and helping us cover our area, using compost on top. That will help to suppress the weeds. And the other thing that we have to consider too is staking. You know, like staking your tomatoes and staking your flowers. Now this rose, I should have staked it somehow. I should have provided it some kind of support, because the blooms are so big and heavy that during the rain it just flopped over. And that's one of the reasons why I decided to cut them and bring them over here, because they were starting to fall over onto the ground. So what I'm going to do next year, um, when in the spring, make sure that I stake it up so that it has some supports. So staking is a big thing for plants and for flowers and also vegetables. Well, of course, we know we want to stake our tomatoes and stake our cucumbers. You don't really want cucumbers on the ground per se. And some of our other viney plants, of course, are peas and beans and things like that. So staking is huge. Monitoring for bugs and disease. Oh, something is biting me. Oh no. Whew, whatever that was. I think I'm addicted to building trellises. I want everything standing at attention. That's very good. Trellising is a good thing. I need some trellising. We're gonna be starting that. I kind of convinced my husband that we need to trellis the um the the squash. You get them off the ground. Yeah, and make sure that we have them standing at attention like he said. Oh, I gotta sneeze. Sorry. Sorry about that. There's a lot of pollen in the air here, and the rain has helped to. Ooh, sorry about that. Sorry. I was trying to not. I took some Sudafed and so forth. Um, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. But there's a lot of pollen in the air, and I never really suffered from allergies or anything like that. But it's just been. I pray you feel better, Miss Catherine. I'm not feeling sick per se. It's just I think that there's a lot of pollen in the air. 2 times. Thank you. I do feel blessed, you know. I do. I don't know, the bugs. I have short sleeve. I have no sleeves, and the bugs want to onto. Yeah, I think it's a. I'm not claiming allergies now, but I think that is part of it. You know. Anyway, enough of that. Let's keep on moving on. And so harvesting, succession planting. Now basil. Oh, I planted my basil in the container here. So I did talk about ginger and mints. Mints are fragrant as well, and a part of the herbs. And then I don't know if you were here with me earlier, but mints are easy to root. And I rooted some ginger mint and also some of the candy mint. Now, I just I just cut some sprigs and I just put it inside the water in the vase, and it's been sitting in the water for about like 2 weeks or so, and it's already starting to root. So if you want more plants and you want to add more mints in your garden, remember I got a little 4-inch pot and it was $5, $4.99 for that. But so now you can have your own plants and have multiple supply, and you can also give some away to people if you want to, because now you can create your own plants from the ones that you have by rooting them and propagating. And that's the other thing. Start to think about how can you add the abundance. I just found a berry mint that I enjoy. Really? Wow. That's a good thing. How can you expand the abundance in your garden? And one of the ways you could do is do it by rooting plants and stems, by cutting and dividing your plants, by using seeds, so that you're not spending a whole lot of money for plants, but that you're creating your own plants, the abundance of the garden. Remember, one of the topics for this discussion is welcome abundance. Welcome abundance. Welcome abundance. Right. So how do we gain abundance? With fragrance too. So we have the fragrance of the mints, the fragrance of the flowers, right? The joys of the garden. Another plant that I planted that I have an abundance of now is my basil. Basil. And this is from seed, my basil. And it smells so good. I just had some seeds. The Dollar Tree seeds? That is from the Dollar Tree seed of basil. I receive it. Yes, abundance. Woo! Abundance, abundance, abundance. Yes, that's what we get in the garden. Abundance. Our God, I don't know if you believe in God, but I do. Our God is abundant, and it shows up in the garden. His abundance shows up in the garden. hmm Yes. So I'm growing lemon balm, and I love it. Yes, and the thing about lemon balm, after a while, its season spreads all over your garden. I have lemon balm, a whole um, when you walk through by my plum tree, I have on both sides lemon balm. So when I walk through that path into the back, into the my kitchen garden area, I can smell, because you brush up against it and you crush it, and I smell the lemon balm, and then I love drinking the tea. I might try growing the lemon balm. Lemon balm is like a mint, right? And so it spreads. It spreads a lot by seed. It self-seeds, and also it spreads from the roots. But I don't mind having an abundance of lemon balm, because I also use lemon balm for tea. And it's supposed to be really good for your digestion, and also, fragrance. I have to restart my lemon balm. Didn't survive. Oh, but that's okay. That's one thing about the garden. You can start over again. Yes, yes, you can start over again. So, I told you abundance by rooting, right? G Mama Grows. Is that the name of the berry mint? Of the berry mint? The name of the berry mint. Yes, she would. Beverly wants some more mint. She's jealous. She Mama Grows. Beverly's jealous. She wants some of your berry mint to add to all of her other mints. Her ginger mint, candy mint, all of the mints. She wants berry mint now. She wants orange mint, apple mint. What is it? She wants all the vegetables, all the fruits. Apple mint, berry mint, orange mint. What else? She's just, yeah. Okay, that's it. Ginger mint, candy mint. What else? Spearmint, peppermint. I found it in the local nursery. Oh, that's cool. So she's gonna have to go looking for that berry mint. Oh, sorry, Bev. But that was funny. Anyway, yeah, do they have strawberry? Oh, yeah, strawberry mint. There is strawberry mint. Somebody talked about strawberry mint. There is strawberry mint somewhere. I don't know, but yeah. So there all this fragrance in the garden, and you can now with the mints you can eat you could drink the mints. You could drink the fragrance. Yeah, I'll let you know when I find it. Oh. Chocolate mint. Yes, Cassie. Chocolate mint. I'm growing and dehydrating lemon balm. My lemon balm, basil mints, and catnip all over wintered and are striving. Wow, that's great. Now the catnip, is that for drinking too? Because I bought some catnip seeds, but I just have not planted it. I don't know. I know that I had bought catnip before, and the cats came and rolled all over the catnip. So I didn't really want to buy, I mean, have that because I didn't want them rolling all over it. Spearmint used to be my favorite. Yeah, yeah, spearmint. So all of these, um, what do you do with the catnip? Yeah, that's a good question, Deborah. What do you do? No, it's for my cat. Oh, okay. Okay, okay. Yeah, because I had bought some. I love the flowers, the blue flowers or purple or lavender color flowers, and I really wanted to add that into the garden. And I actually put it in a container and close to the house. And you know those cats climbed up on top of the container and started rolling all up in the container? I said, nah, this is not going to work. So I really have pursued the catnip. Um, all right, so we've been talking about, but yeah, so I have the basil. So there are many ways that you can increase the abundance in your garden through seeds, which we know, and we have been sowing seeds. If you sow seeds now, you will get a great harvest. And start thinking about succession planting. It keeps her calm, and she does rub against it. Okay. All right. Succession. Thank you, Deborah. Yeah, your cat is a happy cat. Uh-huh. Because you're taking great care of her, giving her the pleasures of the garden with you. But I'm sure she's doing her work too, keeping those little critters out of there too. So you might as well make the cat happy. Yes. That's one thing about my garden. There were a lot of cats at one point. This lady, one of my neighbors, she used to feed the cats, and the cats would roam through the neighborhood. But it just kept all of the critters away, kept the area cleaned from things like that. So it is good to have the cats hanging out around. Um, yeah, yes, I've been doing more succession planting lately. Yes, succession planting. So with the basil here, this basil is doing very well. Yes, ma'am. The critters stay out of my garden. That's true. The succession planting with the basil. So I've seeded this group here, but with this also, it's more like a cut and come again. When you cut it a certain way, it will become more bushy. But the other thing is that to keep it from bolting, you have to use it frequently. But if it does bolt, I can always seed some more. So like some of the plants need that second flush, um, like our lettuce and things like that. So start thinking about your succession planting, what you would like to plant next or have in the, for the for the fall or coming into the fall. I know it's still summer, but it's something to think about in the back of your head that if you see the seeds, that you can purchase them now so that you'll have them for later on, right? Because we want to do intentional gardening, right? So we do want to continue to think about what do we want to see for the next season, into the fall and even through the summer. Like also a succession planting of your carrots, your lettuce, your spinach, those kinds of crops as well. Um, like basil, even your zinnias. You can succession plant your zinnias, cucumbers, sunflowers. Yeah, so think about that, how, with that process. Then we have the water sprinklers versus the drip irrigation. You know, uh, some of you with the warmer weather coming on, we have the need for sprinklers, and depending on your region too, I think. For some, you may need to go and figure out drip irrigation. For others, the sprinkler system might be the best. Also, you can have your barrels and your water containers that you can allow the rainwater to fill up. And between those days when it's not raining, you can water your plants with rainwater. Yeah. So all of these things is to think about. Yeah. All right. Now we are coming. Oh, it's already 51 minutes that have passed by so far. So with that, I want to get to the fragrant leaves and flowers. So we talked about basil, bee balm, mint. There's scented geraniums also with flowers, scented geraniums, but you have to crush that and you get the scent. But they're scented flowers. We talked about roses. It takes me about an hour to water my garden. Yes, yes, yes. It does take a while too for me to get. So we have like two watering pots from our home, and one for the front garden and one for the back garden. And when my husband starts, he loves the process. I think he enjoys it, especially on a hot day. And midday, I would go out there and water the garden also, give them some water. Um, but usually it rains here a lot in our region, but lately it hasn't been raining as much. We're actually minus 4 point something in the amount of water. So it rained this morning, and it's supposed to rain tomorrow as well. And that way we will gain some more rain. But they said that this has been a dry season. This has been a dry spring. Um, so watering has become something that I myself am thinking about a little bit more. All right. So I went online and I got from FTD by Design. They talked about 35 most frequent flowers for your home or garden. Cassie, are you still there? This is for you. And it's an article here on FTD, you know, the Florist by Design. It looks like this. So I'm going to just show you and talk about 35 of the most fragrant flowers for your home or garden. And you could tell me if you have that flower, okay, everybody? Get ready to get in the chat and let me know if you have that, if you're growing that flower in your garden. All right? Ready, set, go. All right. Tuberose. Anybody growing tuberose in their garden? Tuberose. It looks like this. Tuberose. Anybody growing tuberose in their garden? Said to be the most fragrant plant in the world. The tuberose can produce a heavy sweet scent for up to 48 hours after picking due to the easy nature of this flower. These can be grown outside in a garden or gifted to someone special. Anybody growing tuberose? Let me know. in the chat. Tell me if you like the smell. And say, yes, I'm growing tuberose, and yes, I like the smell, or something like that. Number two, stock. Anybody growing stock in their garden? Stock flowers are quite incredible, blooming from early spring to the beginning of summer. Depending on your climate, these can be grown annually, perennially, or biannual, and produce a wide variety of colors like blue, white, or pink. Stock. Anybody growing stock in their garden? Where are you all? Come on, tell me. The next, carnation. Anybody growing carnation in their garden? Where is everybody? Carnation. Anyone growing carnation in their garden? Carnation. Carnations are a very recognizable flower for many reasons, but they are most widely known for their unique spicy and floral fragrance. Hello, hello. None of these this year. Okay, thank you, somebody. Carnation, anybody carnation? Okay. Stargazer lily. Anyone growing lilies in their garden? Come on, anybody growing lilies in their garden? Thank you, Cassie. At one point, I was wondering what happened. Come on, anybody growing lilies? Carnations, yes. Started from seed, winter soak. Thank you. I am. Thank you, Vintage. I have lilies. Betty Johnson. Thank you. Lilies, yes. Woo! You understood. I already got the first warning about the battery on this phone, so we're going to be ending soon. So you all have to come on and respond. Gardenia, gardenia. Anybody growing gardenias in a pot in their garden? Gardenia. Number 6. I'm going to have to move faster. Lilac. Anybody growing lilacs in the garden? I did. Me. Lilac, lilac, lilacs. Hyacinth, hyacinth. Toad lilies. I planted a couple of days ago. All right, Beverly. Yes. Um, Angel trumpets. I used to grow this. Angel. I have Beauty of Moscow lilac. Yes, regular Miss Kim. Okay, good. I used to have angel trumpet tree. I had 2 of them, but I just got tired of you know, overwintering them and bringing them in and cutting it back. I don't know. I just got tired. I don't know why, but I just did. But for a long time, I had 2 angel trumpet trees, and they're very beautiful, very beautiful. Tulips. How many people? How many people grew tulips? Hyacinths. Yes, Deborah. Yes. Tulips. Tulips. Tulips is number 10. Japanese wisteria. Anybody got a wisteria bush or a vine in their yard? Mm-hmm. Tulips, tulips. Good, good. I remember seeing your videos on angel trumpets. Thank you, Bev. I planted 1,000 tulips for this. Wow, 1,000 vintage gardener. Woo, you love tulips. That is fantastic. Wow. Anybody have a wisteria vine? That smells dope. That is really delicious. The wisteria vine. Um, where I used to work, I would one of the people in the neighborhood, they had a wisteria vine. It was so beautiful, and the smell was so delicious. I have a wisteria. It hasn't bloomed yet. Oh, Bev. Okay. Well, hopefully it will bloom soon. Vintage gardener. Wow. Chrysanthemum. Yes, tulips. Chrysanthemum. Anybody got planted chrysanthemums? Now, I planted the store chrysanthemums, but they didn't have a fragrance. I don't know about that. I'm not familiar with chrysanthemums having a scent, but apparently they do. Honeysuckle. Anybody got honeysuckle? Honeysuckle. My mother used to grow honeysuckle. We used to have a wild honeysuckle vine. I have heirloom chrysanthemums. I planted 111. Oh my goodness, you are a avid gardener. I am so honored to have you, vintage gardener, here with me. during our talks. Wow, I definitely have to visit. You have a yard full of honeysuckle? Wow, wow. I had a honeysuckle. You did, Sonia? My mother had honeysuckle in her garden, and I did try and get a root cutting of it, but it didn't survive. Yeah, when she left, I wanted to get a piece of it, but it didn't survive. Orange jasmine. Anybody have orange jasmine? Orange jasmine. White plumeria. White plumeria. I've heard of all of these. Evening primrose. Anyone growing evening primrose? This is it. It smells really good in the evening, and you could plant evening primrose from seed. This is a really um, while some might view the evening primrose as a weed, most find this yellow flower a delicate addition to any garden. This can be a little temperamental as it can invade other plants in the garden, but if pruned and trimmed correctly, it'll provide you with all-around beauty. As the name suggests, this is a nocturnal flower, so in order to get the most out of the scent, be sure to step outside during the evening hours. Evening primrose. I had grown evening primrose before. It was nice. Lily of the Valley. Lily of the Valley. I have lily of the valley in my garden. Not a lot. My aunt, she used to have like a whole section of just lily of the valley. And when it would come up in the spring, it would just have such a beautiful fragrance. It's highly fragrant. It's really nice as a ground cover. Chocolate cosmos. Chocolate cosmos. Daphne. Plenty of lily of the valley. Oh, okay, Bev. Uh, Freesia. 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 I have two Daphne. All right. Vintage garden. Sweet pea. Anyone? I know a lot of people talk about growing sweet pea. Sweet pea. Just seems like a lot of work, but it's supposed to be very fragrant and nice. Sweet pea. Anybody grow sweet pea? Snapdragons. Snapdragons. I was just gifted some lily of the valley bulbs. Wow. I have perennial sweet pea. There's a perennial. I thought you had to plant it by seed each time, like peas. I'm growing sweet pea. You are. Oh, good, Bev. I have snapdragons. Okay, this is the first year that I seeded the snapdragons. Remember I did that with the winter sowing? And I haven't seen anything yet. I haven't had any flowers yet, and they're still very small. So that's kind of new for me, snapdragons. But um, I'm going to keep on trying. Some sweet pea are annuals. There is one type of perennial sweet pea. Okay, vintage. No peas for me. All right, G Mama. No peas for G Mama. You didn't eat your peas? When your mother would put the peas on the plate, you didn't eat your peas? That's why you have just an aversion to peas. No peas. She probably said, eat your peas, G Mama grows. I said, no, Mommy, I don't want to eat no peas. So you see peas? No, no peas for me. All right. Button bush. But this is different. I've never heard. I flicked them onto the floor. Sonia, you flicked them on. This is bringing back childhood memories about peas. Okay. Sweet Alyssum. Sweet Alyssum. No, ma'am, not then. I'm not growing any either. Oh, Lordy. She said, do not like green peas either. All right. Alyssum. Yes, I grew the alyssum, and the alyssum does smell beautiful. I put some in the pot, and when I walked by, and I happened to whiff, I smelled this. I said, what is that? That is so sweet. And it was my sweet Alyssum, which I had taken for granted. But it's there in the garden and growing very well. So I have to thank Rachel, Brampton Gardner, who's not with us. But she inspired me for some reason to grow Alyssum from seed. And then I found the seeds um, at the Dollar Tree. And I planted the Dollar Tree alyssum seeds and they have grown. So I'm hoping that they will self-seed and spread throughout the garden so that I can smell alyssum. Yeah, for next year too as well. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for anyway. Flax. Flax. Any of you growing flax? Yeah, I have flax. I have the old-fashioned purple flax that I got from my church's garden. They had a garden, and I asked the pastor, I said, can I get some of that flax to put in my garden? And he gave me two pieces of it. You have flax? Mm. And so, did I say flax, or did I pronounce it wrong? Makes a perfect cutting flower. This is what I'm talking about. Phlox. Did I say flax or phlox? Phlox is what I meant. Phlox. Yeah, phlox as well. Yeah. It's very pretty. I love it. And you know, with the phlox, what I had a bunch. It has grown up. I divided the phlox, and I have two new bunches now. So now I have a lot. I have that, and from there I'm going to divide it again this year and put it in other parts of the garden. Yeah. So one of the ways to add to your garden is by dividing, and then you create an abundance of phlox. Because I really love the color of that phlox, purple phlox. I'm almost finished, people, because my phone is about to go. Iris, iris. How many of you have iris? Do you have iris in your garden? Iris. I have bearded iris, and I also have the other type of iris, the Japanese iris. I have Siberian, yes, Siberian iris and bearded iris, Siberian. And I didn't show it, but I do have Siberian iris. Yeah. But I've never thought of iris being fragrant, but maybe it is. I mean, next time I have to pay attention to the fragrance of the iris. Then you have orchid. We're almost finished. Orchid. Yeah, peonies. I have peonies. Anybody have peonies in their garden? Peonies. Flowering tobacco. Bearded iris and another type. Yes, Siberian iris. I had it's a more delicate. The Siberian iris a little more delicate, and they love water. Peonies, yeah, peonies, yeah, peony. I have two orchids and 89 vintage gardener. My goodness, we got to come by your house and raid your garden, get some cuttings and some plants. 89. Woo. We've got a lot of catching up to do. Sweet, 29, sweet autumn clematis. I never heard of that one. Of course, number 30 is the rose, which we all have roses. Bee balm. I love my bee balm. Bee balm. Number 32 is mock orange. Mock orange. The vintage gardener has a beautiful garden. Wow. I have sweet autumn clematis. You do. Number 33, yesterday, today, and tomorrow. I never heard of that one. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Then you have lavender. We talked about lavender in depth. Lavender. And then we have ginger lily. Ginger lily. Ginger lily. So that's it. Those are the 35 different flowers. Yes, lavender. 35 different fragrant flowers. 35 most fragrant flowers for your home or garden. And if you want to know more about it, this is the article that I'm sharing with you here. FTD by design. FTD by design. If you Google it, I Googled fragrant flowers for the garden, and that's what came up. The FTD by design. 35 most fragrant flowers for your home or garden. and you could take your time and look at it a little more closely and decide what you would like to add to your garden. Well, my lovelies, we covered a whole lot. Yay! As we grow, 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 grow together in Catherine's garden and home. That's right. Grow, 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 grow together in Catherine's garden and home. Uh-huh. Grow, 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 grow together in Catherine's garden and home. Yeah, yeah. Grow, 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 grow together in Catherine's garden and home. Uh-huh. Catherine's garden and home. Yeah, yeah. Catherine's garden and home. Come on and sing Catherine's garden and home. Yes, yes, yes. I love your theme song. Thank you, sweetie. Yes, grow, 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 grow together. Grow, 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 grow together. Yes, you don't have to be alone in isolation. Actually, I catch myself singing it at work. You do, Cassie? I'm gonna have to go copyright my song. But you know what? This morning, in my devotionals, um, I was reading about that, and it said that it's better for us to be with others than to be in isolation. Because when you're in isolation, that you end up getting depression and experiencing a lot of other things. So then you're caught off guard, and you can easily be devoured. And yeah, so it's something. It says the implication in the context is that if you do not bring your worries and cares to God, the devil will use depression, discouragement to devour you. Just as lions go after the feeble, the young, and the stragglers, so the enemy of our souls will always seek out those who are isolated, alone, or depressed to devour them. And I'm like, wow. That's why it is important to find community, and that's why a lot of people are suffering with mental illness and depression and all of these other things is because they're in isolation. And you may not believe in God the way I believe in God. You may have your own faith. It doesn't matter here at Catherine's Garden and Home. The point is that we come together in community and we share this common joy. So, I have my spiritual channel, and that I talk about how I believe in God. But this channel is for us to come together and just enjoy one another so that we're not in isolation. And the garden is a place where we can all experience joy, and I accept each and every one of you. I am so thankful that you come and join me here. And I welcome you, and I thank you for sharing your time and your information and your joy and your jokes and everything here at Catherine's Garden and Home. Yeah, 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 because we are better together, and we can make it through life. Something to look forward to, and I get to share my joy with somebody, with you all. So it makes me happy. And I just want to tell you thank you. Do I look happy? Yes. Let me take off the glasses. See this face? This is a happy face. Look at that with my roses and you all. I'm a happy woman. Oh, anyway, I thank you. My phone is going to die soon. Yeah, thank you so much, Miss Catherine, for introducing me to the garden. You're welcome, Sonia. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're such a sweetheart. Hello, Sonia. I'm Lovely Dove 23. How you doing, Lovely Dove 23? You are lovely. Yes, thank you for coming. Who's that? Is that Beverly? Thank you, Beverly. You're such a blessing. Thank you. You know what I'm going to do with that, Beverly? When I accumulate all of this, I said, oh, this gives me an excuse to go to Lowe's and get me some more flowers and plants and to buy and try new things. I tell my husband, oh, it's okay. I'm making money. So don't worry. Don't worry. It's paying for itself. Thank you, Miss Catherine. You're welcome. Love being here. Gardens on me. I love you being here too. You spoil me. You make me go ahead and try new things, and I have an excuse. Blessings, everyone. Yes. So have a wonderful, wonderful evening, and I will see you next time right here at Catherine's Garden Home. And greet one another. Come on, let's say good night, good evening to one another. Yes, goodbye, Deborah. Bye, Sonia. Bye, there. Bye, Cassie. Thank you, Cassie, for giving us something to think about. You are such a wonderful person. Thank you. Stay blessed, everybody. By the way, what would you all want to talk about next time? I think we mentioned lavender. Yeah, so maybe we'll do some research on lavender. If I find some lavender, I will see if I can get some lavender starts, and we could talk about lavender, how to keep that Mediterranean, and rosemary. Rosemary and lavender are Mediterranean plants, and how to keep them alive. Maybe we'll look that up. But if you have any other comments or things that you want us to talk about and discuss next Wednesday or later on, leave it in the comments section. If you have not subscribed to Catherine's Garden and Home, please subscribe and hit the like button so that others will know about this channel and that we can grow the channel. So thank you so much for being with me, and I will see you again. Yes, God willing, and I know that He is. Good evening to you, Sonia. Thank you for moderating and for being here with us too. Your faithfulness is appreciated. Deborah, I'm so glad that all is going well for you. Vintage Gardener, we have to come and visit you at your house. You have all those plants. I'm going to have to check your, if you have not subscribed, you have a channel, right? If you have not subscribed to Vintage Gardener, make sure that you subscribe so that we can know what she's talking about when she tells us about her garden. Make sure that you subscribe to Vintage Gardener. Let me see if I can pull you up here. Vintage Gardener. Do you have a channel? Vintage Garden, New Jersey. She is 300 and... Vintage Gardener. You guys go to Vintage Gardener, New Jersey. Subscribe. I didn't even subscribe. I need to subscribe. Subscribe to her channel. She has a lot of good things there. We need to support her channel. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Go to Vintage Gardener and subscribe to her channel, people. She has 467 subscribers. We need to get her to 1,000. She has a Mother's Day haul, stock tank barrel. Yes. Winter sewing podcast. Wow. Vintage Gardener. She has a podcast. Go, girl. Support us. Yes, Vintage Garden will be subscribing. Come on, you gotta subscribe. Look at that. It's so pretty.
Hello, everyone. This is
That's her.
And you're listening to the Vintage Gardener podcast, which is where I give you tips and tricks for gardening, specifically if you're in South Jersey, Zone 7A.
Zone
So
7A.
today's podcast is not going to be about a gardening.
We've got to subscribe, Vintage Gardener. Yes. We've got to get you, we've got to subscribe. Yes. I'm so glad. Thank you. I am honored that you would come and join me here. What a fantastic thing. Yes, I'm encouraging everyone to go and make sure you subscribe to Vintage Gardener. We've got to promote her. That's right. Yay! Subscribe to her. Yay. She's got all those plants, all that information. Yes. Yes, I'm Zone 7 also. I'll go over. Good. I'm Lovely Dubs. Let's see. Do you have a channel too? Let's see. I'm Lovely Dubs. Anyway, subscribe to one another. And those who else has a channel? Uh, Um, Make sure that you subscribe to one another so we could support one another. We all need to be making a little ching ching, like those AdSense. So you have to have 1,000 subscribers. I don't have a. Oh, you don't have a channel? Okay. Well, think about it. And yeah, and so support one another so that we can continue to do this, to garden and to share. So I do thank you, like how Bev has put in the chat. That's really good. I really appreciate that because, as I said, every little bit counts and it helps me to and encourages me to want to garden. I'm subscribed to Vintage Garden. You are, Deborah? That's fabulous. That's fabulous. Well, we discovered something wonderful. Vintage Gardener, we discovered your channel and subscribe. Woo, 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 woo. Yay, and your voice is so lovely. Oh my goodness. You're so cute. Yes, you got a podcast. All right, I celebrate you. Yes, I do. All right. Well, before my phone dies on us, I just want to thank you again for joining me here at Catherine's Garden and Home, where we grow, grow, grow together. And I will see you next week, God willing. And remember that we are better together. We are better together. We are better together. Already I feel better too. And I'm so glad that I'm able to share my roses with you all. You know what? That contribution from Bev is tempting me to get to Lowe's to get some more roses because I wanted another rose bush. Please keep my son in prayer. Okay, Father God, we just pray that you will just cover Deborah's son and whatever issues that he may be going through. We pray that you will just be with him and protect him and speak to him. May he have an encounter with you for healing, whatever it is that he's in need of. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, have a good one, everybody. Bye. Thank you, Sonia. Thank you, everybody. I'm so happy. Have a good day. Bye.